Good evening, and welcome to Daily Top Bulletin, bringing you the top 10 current affairs headlines in the most simple, clear, and exam-focused format for UPSC and competitive exams. Every headline is carefully selected to keep your preparation ahead of the competition. Let's begin with today's top 10 news. May 29th, 2026. 1. Cabinet Committee approves 25,530 Indian rupees crore Sarthak PDS scheme. What happened? The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs (CCEA) approved the continuation and digital overhaul of India's food security system under an umbrella initiative called the Sarthak PDS scheme for the 2026 to 2031 cycle. Key facts to remember. Full form: Scheme for Assistance in Ration Transport and Handling Income with Automation in PDS. Technology integrated. Merges the Smart PDS program into a single model leveraging AI, machine learning, blockchain, and NLP, natural language processing. Objective: transitions target food delivery from manual or basic electronic checking to automated tracking to check leakages and guarantee interoperable distribution under the National Food Security Act, NFSA. 2. India and U.S. sign pact on critical minerals at 11th Quad Ministerial Meeting. What happened? On the sidelines of the 11th Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in New Delhi, India and the United States officially inked a major economic and resource agreement. Key facts to remember. The framework, named the Framework on Securing of Supply in the Mining and Processing of Critical Minerals and Rare Earths. Signatories: Indian External Affairs Minister Drive S. Jaishankar and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Syllabus focus: targets the collaborative mining, refining, processing, and recycling of rare earth elements to decouple strategic tech supply chains from heavy single-country monopolies, China. 3. Ministry of Defense issues RFP for AMCA 5th-generation fighter. What happened? The Ministry of Defense, MOD, officially accelerated India's aerospace capabilities by issuing the Request for Proposal, RFP, for the Indigenous Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, AMCA, program. Key facts to remember. The AMCA status: India's first domestic 5th-generation stealth fighter aircraft project. Funding and prototypes: backed by an initial structural development fund of 15,000 Indian rupees crore to construct 5 flying prototypes and 1 structural testing bed. Strategic shift: for the first time, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited (HAL) has been set aside from solo structural ownership as the MOD expands bidding to major private defense consortia, such as Tata Advanced Systems, L&TBL, and Bharat Forge. 4. ISRO's Chandrayaan-2 detects crucial subsurface ice on Moon. What happened? Utilizing historical radar readings, scientists from India's Physical Research Laboratory, PRL, successfully discovered massive instances of buried subsurface ice within lunar polar craters. Key facts to remember. A instrument used: the DFSAR, Dual Frequency Synthetic Aperture Radar, mounted on the Chandrayaan-2 orbiter. Specific location: detected deep inside the lunar shadow layers of the Faustini crater near the South Pole. Exam significance: proves the viability of utilizing in situ resources, water extraction, oxygen, and rocket fuel propellant for upcoming deep space human bases and the Chandrayaan for extraction roadmap. 5. Government appoints high-level panel to study demographic changes. What happened? The Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, constituted a powerful high-level independent committee to review and audit nationwide shifting population ratios. Key facts to remember. Chairperson: headed by former Supreme Court Justice B.C. Naolkar. Core mandate: explicitly tasked to evaluate shifting regional populations caused by illegal cross-border migration and abnormal demographic fluxes. Key members: includes current Census Commissioner Mrityunjay Kumar Narayan and Economic Advisory Council to the PM, YAC-PM, member Dr. Shamika Ravi. 6. India submits first national report on the Nagoya Protocol. What happened? India became one of the primary megabiodiverse nations to submit its first formal implementation report tracking compliance under the Global Nagoya Protocol on Access and Benefit Sharing, ABS. Key facts to remember. Institutional architecture: administered via a strict 3-tier system, National Biodiversity Authority, NBA, At the apex, state biodiversity boards, SBBs, and over 2.76 lakh village-level biodiversity management committees, BMCs. Economic impact. The NBA confirmed a collection of 216.31 Indian rupees crore via the access and benefit sharing mechanism, with over 139 Indian rupees crore dispersed directly back to indigenous forest communities for conservation incentives. 7. Sikkim recognized as India's fifth fully literate state under ULAS. What happened? The Ministry of Education officially designated Sikkim as a fully literate state following systematic adult education sweeps conducted over the past few years. Key facts to remember. The scheme, achieved under the ULAS, Understanding Lifelong Learning for All in Society, Nav Bharat Saksharta Karyakram Framework. Alignment. Directly maps to targets under the National Education Policy, NEP, 2020. Predecessors. Sikkim joins the elite ranks of states like Kerala, Goa, and Mizoram in crossing the structural education threshold. 8. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, IBC, marks 10 years of operation. What happened? Enacted in 2016, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, IBC, completed a decade of operation, prompting performance reports on corporate distressed asset resolutions. Key facts to remember. A core objective, a single, unified legislative architecture that replaced old, fragmented processes like SICA and SARFACI for corporate debt resolution. The upside, drastically improved credit culture, lowered bank non-performing assets, NPAs, and enhanced structural recovery windows. The bottleneck, reports underscore that systemic resolution delays, breaching the statutory 330-day cap due to NCLT backlogs, remain its primary challenge. 9. Center slated to secure 1,200 fishing harbors via CISF guarding. What happened? Moving to seal coastal vulnerabilities highlighted in past maritime incursions, the central government announced a policy to bring over 1,200 smaller landing docks and fishing ports under direct federal security. Key facts to remember. The agency involved, the Central Industrial Security Force, CSF, will lead security operations. Strategic intent, minimizes non-traditional security threats, standardizes biometric entry tokens for deep-sea fishers, and tightens coastal surveillance gaps between coastal police and the Indian Navy/Coast Guard. 10. India and China convene 35th WMCC meeting on border relations. What happened? Diplomatic delegates from India and China met face-to-face in Beijing to conduct the 35th session of the Structural Border Management Platform. Key facts to remember. The mechanism, formerly known as the WMCC, Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs. Key outcomes. Discussions zeroed in on line of actual control, LAC, disengagement stabilization, cross-border water sharing parameters, and setting up the groundwork for the upcoming Special Representatives, SR, dialogue. Thank you for tuning in to Daily Top Bulletin. Stay updated, stay prepared, and stay ahead in your UPSC and competitive exam journey. We'll be back tomorrow with another set of the day's most important current affairs headlines. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Good night, and see you in the next bulletin.